Hello everybody, it's Patty the Tinkerer's wife here. It is Monday and I'm doing something that it just makes the kitchen smell wonderful, and no, it's not cooking something. I'm actually working with peppermint, and what I'm doing is stripping down the leaves. And I think I probably shared this before. I'm looking for a good leaf there, stem. But leaves of plants, see how these leaves are pointed upward? With mint and with sages, oregano's a good one to do this with. You take the very top of the stem and you run your hand down, and the stem is completely clean. Now with these, I have a lot of weirdo side stems. It's just how they grow. This was actually laying on the ground. And so these stems, they naturally do get side stems on them. This was mint that I had in a container that I didn't realize I had. It was in with a bunch of other plants, and I saw the blooms, and that's when I noticed it. So I decided I better get it harvested and capture the wonderful essence of this plant. This is peppermint. For those of you who are concerned about mints reseeding, peppermint, true peppermint, is sterile. It will cross-pollinate with like spearmint, and you'll end up with something that those of us that work with herbs call mud mint. It will any of the other mints that are not sterile. I'm putting these in the wrong pile. So anyway, I was just doing this, and I just got done watching Natalie over at Hey It's a Good Life do a wonderful video on this yummy dish, and I can't remember the name of the dish, but it's one of those that has, it's a pasta dish. And as a widow, one of the challenges I have is cooking for one. I don't think people realize what a struggle that can be, but almost every friend that I know, anybody I've talked to who's a widow, has the same challenge, because we go from cooking for a family or for one person, or excuse me, for you and the husband, or you and the wife, can be a man who's a widower. It doesn't matter. When you go to cook for just yourself, it's hard. Everything in the grocery store is set up for families. A can of like beans, it isn't just for a single serving. So you're always having to cook and think, now what am I going to do with the rest of this? Can I eat it tomorrow? Am I even going to like to eat it tomorrow? Because when you're going through grief, you don't feel like eating a lot of times. You don't feel like fixing food, because it's that constant reminder that the person that you love isn't there. So it's a challenge. So I let Natalie know how wonderful it was that she shared that, because this recipe that she has is one that could easily be frozen. Most pasta dishes can. It's cheesy and has a real nice tomato paste, creamy sauce. I think it is even made with vodka, and if it's like the other pasta sauces I've had with vodka, it gives it a really nice flavor. It's similar but different to when you make a sauce with wine. It imparts a flavor to it that nothing else can give. And so I'm really excited to try it. And I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah, so I'm waiting for my laptop to get back. It's probably been over 2 weeks now. I can't lose track of time. And I am going to be learning how to, my goal is when it comes back, I'm going to learn how to edit. I was watching Lane over at VW Family Farms, and he did such a great job. I mean, my brain could wrap around what he was talking to, and he used the black background of the screen when he's doing the editing, which I can see much easier than a white background in a video. And you know, my brain just doesn't work like some people's brains. And I know, I just want to say this out loud to everybody. Daryl at Two Family Homestead does a great job, but his his style of teaching is not one that my brain follows really well. And I know a lot of people, they love what he does and how he shares, and I think that's great because he does a great job. It's just this learner can't learn with his method. So Lane was perfect. He did a great job, the kind of teacher that I needed. And so I wanted to share that because if you are struggling with learning something, it might not be you, it might be the teacher. It might be the style of teaching that is making it difficult. I'm just kind of rambling here because I felt like I needed to do this with friends. I'm sharing this. I wish you could smell this. It's wonderful, but it was invigorating to me. But anyway, getting back to the topic. When I was in high school, I was an A student in algebra. I was a smarty pants. I was in the smarty pants class for algebra. And when it came to doing algorithms, oh no. And calculus, forget it. I just could not. My brain all of a sudden just seized up and went, stop! And I was failing the class all of a sudden. And my teacher, thank God for good teachers, realized that I was having a hard time grasping how he was teaching. So he found that he had this little book that he gave me. And I sailed through that book. I ended up with an A because I could learn from the book, which taught differently. It was more like a by rote kind of teaching. So I say that to for any of you, and especially those of you who are like homeschooling your kids right now. We all have different learning styles, and it's sometimes difficult. And kids will get frustrated. I know I was really frustrated when that happened in high school. And there's probably other things that happened too that I didn't recognize when I was younger, why I couldn't learn something. But I was a smart kid. And most of the time I did pretty well. But once in a while I'd come up against something and I felt like I was butting my head up against a wall, and I didn't matter how I tried, I just couldn't get it. So if you have a kid like that, if you have a child like that you're dealing with, maybe it is the style of teaching, the way that what you're teaching them is being presented. Yeah, and it's not any fault of yours. It's not any fault of the materials. There's a lot of really excellent material out there. It's just finding out what style of learning you can do. Another thing is, I don't read music. I taught myself how to play guitar. I took violin, 4 years. No, I guess I just had 3 years of violin. I had 3 years of violin. I did it all pretty much by listening and then playing. It was very hard for me to read music, and so I just didn't. I just didn't. And so I never made first chair. If I had learned to read music, I probably would have made first chair because I was pretty good at it. But the teacher knew that I was not reading music, and that was part of the problem. So anyway, not to say that it's bad to not read music, because there's a lot of really wonderful musicians out there who don't read a note. And a lot of music today isn't actually, especially with popular music, isn't done in the traditional music tablature like we used to. So yeah, so you just find out what works. Find out what works. Ask other people. You know, if you're having a problem or a child is having a problem learning. I suppose this could even go for gardening too, because there are some things I have trouble wrapping my brain around, but and part of that is my personality. I am not a nurturer. No. I am a nerd, an information lover. I love how plants work, but I am really bad about feeding them. I can remember to water pretty good, but I'm not very good about feeding vegetables. That's something that I should make as a goal. In the next time I get a vegetable garden, I probably should make that a goal. I think if the vegetables are in containers, I do better. And admittedly here, I've had that struggle with the soil having way too much potassium in it, so it wasn't really easy to feed them. I couldn't just put an all-purpose fertilizer on them. I had to kind of manufacture a way to feed them. So yeah, that was a struggle. So anyway, but had a good harvest. As you can see, look at all the cherry tomatoes, and I still have some coming. I put several quart bags of tomatillos in the freezer, and so that'll give me some time to figure out what the heck I'm going to make with them. I am going to make some chicken enchiladas with a green sauce. That's one thing I really want to do. So they may end up all going into green sauce. I do have some others coming on. I've got some in the fridge too that I'm going to make a tomatillo salsa, I think. I want to try doing that. So I've got to find out in the next couple days. That's on the menu. And I've got some chicken breast in the refrigerator so I can have my shredded chicken tacos with the green salsa and cilantro and lime juice and garden fresh tomatoes, which are right over there. That's all I've got left. I guess that is all of them. That's all the big tomatoes. That's it. The garden is starting to really look differently because I've been cutting things down. Probably in a few days I'll be cutting the beloved cucamelon down. In other news, the air quality is kind of funky today. It's not as bad as it was, but it was up above 100. What is it? 110, I think, is what the count was. So it's smoky. I thought I smelled smoke in the house a little bit ago, and it was the smoke coming in through the window places where my window monster air conditioner is. So good reminder to keep praying for the guys working on the fires and those families that are starting to reclaim their lives somewhat. It's going to be a long road ahead for a lot of them because a lot of them lost everything. A whole entire town, or 3 or 5. I mean, there was large areas that just were completely devastated. So, and I know California is having similar things. I just, I can't even imagine. I haven't even been able to watch the news about California after what's gone on here. It's just too hard. My soft, empathetic heart, as strong a personality as I am, God saw fit to give me a heart that wept easily. That's a good thing. I call it the gift of tears. In a society that doesn't cry easily and that tries to hide their sorrows a lot of times, burying them in work and whatever else they can, sports, addictions, that never really leads to any good. And I tried both of those, so I can just say it's not worth it. So yeah, I know that was kind of a heavy revy. I'm gonna change. Oh my gosh, I just want to take this and stick my face in it. Look at that. Oh, wow, that is gonna make some fantastic tea. Oh yeah, I can't wait. So yep, that'll be good. It's good to boil in a pot. Put in some boiling water and steam if you're having congestion. That works really good. I also have spearmint, which also works good for that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to using this. I think I probably have maybe a pint worth of dried leaves off of that that was a 4-inch plant that just grew. And that's how much I got off of it. I think the roots went into the soil underneath. Yeah, the plants have been out there for a while. But anyway, the other thing is, I cut some rosemary today, and I am going to attempt to make a video about my rosemary hazelnut cookies. So stay tuned. I have an idea how I can do it and actually show you guys how I do it, get the cookies made, and get them back out. It takes an hour. And so